Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. It's really amazing to be here with you guys today. I hope that you can see me well, that you can hear me well. Please give me some reaction. Hey, Ross. Hey, Jean.
Hi, Mila.
Nice to see you guys.
Nice to see you as well.
Well, today I'm very excited to have this, like we call it a big webinar. We haven't done like such a informative webinar for some time. So I think the closest one was at the event or November, I believe, October or November. So today we have prepared for you guys amazing information. So let's go to the next slide. For those who are here for the first time, my name is Mila Serdjukova, and I will be the first speaker for today. I'm already in the company for more than 7 years. I've been involved since the concept has been only in the process of development, and today I'm responsible for few companies we have in our ecosystem, as well as I'm a professional speaker, network marketer, and I'm really proud of being able to do the webinar today and explain and share with all of you guys what has been done for the last few months, and actually to also explaining some milestones, and actually to tell you what will be happening for the next few months. I think we have plenty of exciting news today, and I hope that during the today sessions you will have lots of questions covered. So this is the plan that we have. Let's go to the next slide. The agenda for today will be very sweet and simple. First, we'll go through some of the global portfolio projects. For those of you who have been with the company for a while, and can you please put plus if you already co-owner of the global portfolio, because this first part will be interesting for you specifically. Then we're going to dive detail into the STO Box Corporation. I will explain you the story behind it. We will talk about global portfolio STO plans. We're going to talk about amazing projects, which some of you are already familiar with, which is Soulbound ID project. And put plus if you actually already participated in this project, because from my point of view, it's one of the really the most exciting projects we have, because we have so many news, so many accomplishments from the team who organized this project, and I'm really proud of being part of the collaborations we have. And then we will finish up and wrap it up with some of the explanation about ecosystem, about what is the compliant environment, how we're going to take it further, and the most importantly, what will be there for you, because at the end of the day, I'm sure to be part of the projects from active point of view, to being involved in the project development, it is much more exciting rather than just being a silent listener. I don't know about you guys, but I have a few projects in my personal portfolio, and I always feel more excited with the projects which I'm involved into, which I can see the development, which I know the team behind it. It gives me lots of security and a sense of that everything going to go accordingly compared to the projects where it just, like good picture on the website. But we will talk about this as well, because it's important for everybody to recognize how to differentiate the good projects with a good team from not that very good projects, which are plenty there. So let's go to the next slide. So first, I will remind you about our why. And I can see from reaction, at least in English speaking chat, we have lots of pluses. And by the way, today we have 6 languages streaming. So we have another 5 rooms with the various languages. So it will be good to also hear or see your reaction, guys. So like we want to start with what is our why and why we started everything 7 years ago. Majority of you who've been involved in the projects, you have heard about the concept which called new economic evolution in the world. The idea that people will have opportunity to become co-owners of their different companies, of the different businesses. They would be able to receive some residual income. They would be able to create the personal portfolio, would be able to leave something behind for the further generations. And I believe that this is one of the important cornerstones of the investment in general. At the end of the day, it is not about what instrument you invest into. It's about what strategy you have, and what is your why. Are you short-term investor, you would like to have a risk investment, or you the long-term investor who like to have a diversification, who will be happy with the long but stable growth. So the global portfolio concept was born with the idea of creation different instruments and segments which will be blended together under one big portfolio. So it is the possibility to become co-owner of every single asset which is inside of this apple pie, inside of this portfolio, to get access to financial literacy as well. Because at the end of the day, like each investment instrument is very unique. And you as a responsible investor, and I hope that you are, you should know what is differentiator from each investment instrument. For example, I'm sure you know there are lots of people who made the money on investing on the Bitcoin. There are lots of money who lost their money by investing into the Bitcoin. What is the difference? Same instrument. But the difference is the strategy, the understanding, and the knowledge. People who know what they do, they are more likely will not make a mistake because they are using different strategies. They are analyzing the market, analyzing the trends, compared to the people who just jump on a projects without even understanding what it is and why the project is existing in the first place. So therefore, given the access of financial literacy, it's very important. And when I've been introduced to this project, actually, it's come from the door of the financial literacy. I still remember that time I was living actually in UK, and I traveled to the Singapore, and Armand Mourniax, he actually was calling me saying that I need to attend one of the courses when it will explain about the business and financial literacy. And I thought, like, well, what do I need to learn about financial literacy? I have my, I have my education, I have my degree. What is there yet to learn? But somehow he actually managed to push me through, and I purchased this course. And I wanted him to just, leave me alone, because he's the person, he will never leave you alone unless you do what he actually encouraging you to do. But as a result, it's actually this course, I can literally say, changed my life, because I learned so much about investment literacy, about what is their MLCI. I learned about different instruments and how to blend them together. So I think for everybody, it doesn't matter if you're new to the investment or if you've already been investing for 10, 15, 20 years, please make sure that you always update your knowledge about the financial literacy and investment literacy. It will always help you to be like on the trends which are important in nowadays. Also, idea of the creation of the global portfolio was to have different multiple income stream. So people can not just invest into the projects, but they can become MLCI professional by building the business and accessing additional income streams. And by having additional income streams, you are able to invest into the different projects, invest into the different, different projects we have an ecosystem. So therefore, business MLCI, it's a beautiful instrument for the income creation. And if you read any books of the Robert Kiyosaki, or if you look at any professional investors, you will actually realize that majority of them have a large portfolio because they have the income which they keep constantly reinvesting. So therefore, it is very important to have the multiple income streams, because the more money you have, the more money you can invest. The more money you can invest, the larger your portfolio will be, the larger your future dividends will be, because you have a variety of the instruments. So you see how everything is connected, how all these little dots are connected beautifully. And at the end of the day, we're doing this, as I mentioned, in order to have something behind, to pass to the further generations, to have some financial freedom and independence, not just for my sake of you, but for my family, for my kids, for my grandkids. So when I'm not longer here, I know that I will be the person who actually set the financial pillow for my entire family. And actually, I am proud of having being the first investor in my family. None of my siblings before ever been involved into any investment. So I'm really happy that I'm the first who put this foundation into my family, that's having portfolio, having investment instruments, having the income streams, having the freedom of choose and follow your passion. This is how it should be. It is not about just to have a job and work every single day for the same for the same employee for the rest of your life and struggle. It is about to unleash your potential and be able to choose what makes you happy. So I hope that investment, MLCI, business, interest in instruments, collaboration, I hope this make you happy as well, because I'm very excited about creation of the new economic evolution in the world and be here today with all of you guys. We are moving forward to the right direction. Let's go to the next slide. Here, very briefly, update of the global portfolio. We have the multiple segments into the global portfolio we have, and on a slide you can see that I give them 3 colors. There are some projects that unfortunately we're not able to retrieve at the moment because of the different political, economical, or some unknown situation. There are some projects which are on pause, again, because of the situations happening today in the world. There are some projects which are required large investments in order for the projects to be developed. And there are some projects who are fully workable, and these are the ones who will be, we will concentrate on them. And today during the presentation, you will also see the roadmap, what will happen next. But from now on, our global portfolio will be consistent with those instruments or those assets which we able to retrieve, which we able to work on. And then slowly but surely, we will add more and more companies to our global portfolio. So by the end of the day, as the plan always was to have a full diversified portfolio with the 20 segments across all the industries, eventually and gradually we will reach this goal. But we are starting now with what we have, what is possible to migrate. And with the new updated tokenomics and new updated white paper, you will be able to see the milestones which has been created since last year, since 2022. But feel free to take the picture of the slide, because this is something you would be able to see what are the directions the company will look into. There are some of these companies here, for example, Innovative Transport Solutions, which are managed by in other organizations. There are some gold projects, which again, not managed by our company, but managed by third party. And it's okay. There are some projects which are fully owned by the company, and there are some projects who are owned by another investors or another co-companies as well, which is again one of the strategies which our founder wanted to follow. And what you see in the slide, this is the latest updates of the different companies and assets we have in our ecosystem. But let's go further. Let's not waste much time on this. Let's go to the next slide. I would like to now introduce you to 2 amazing gentlemen. So you can already see them both on the screen, but I would like to first share a little story how we met. It was actually last year, I believe it was February or March. Imagine, guys, it's almost going to be a year since we know each other. It was the Dubai exhibition expo. And I've been working there with across with the Valentin, with the Global Unit Pay. And that time they had some of the presence on this exhibition. And almost at the last minute, through me walking through the door and finishing the day, I saw this amazing stand when it says that we have spent 50,000 hours on STO. And I was like, what? 50,000 hours? It's not just us who all over the place are researching for the STO. There are other companies who are interested specifically on the tokenization of the assets. So I came to talk to Ross and talk to Jean, and I realized how amazing this company is, that they have actually lots of knowledge, that they have spent all these hours, and practice makes perfect, right? So when you put so much hours of research and dedicated work on one project, you become the professional on this project. And then we had a meeting with them, with Armand as well in Dubai, and we realized that there's so much we can collaborate, we can do so much together, and they can help us with our biggest projects, which is STO of the global portfolio. And today, if I look back, it's almost for those of you who have husband or wife, I think this is how the story happened. You see the girl or the boy, you get to know them, you like them, you spend more time, and then you realize you have so much in common. Then you end up marry them. So I think this is what happened in our companies. Like we started with something really small to get to know each other. You had some concerns, we had some concerns. Slowly we start working on security token, then on utility token. Then we realized that we can have like another amazing tokens of your community bring into our platform. And now we have an entire new level of the collaboration with you guys. So I'm very happy to work with you, and everything that you put the energy into, the passion, helping us to complete our projects, and also the projects that you have in your pipeline. They are beautifully excited. So without further ado, I will pass it now the stage to Ross and to Jean, and they will be taken from there to blow your mind away, guys. And I will come a bit later on this presentation as well. The floor is yours, guys.
Hello, thank you, Mila. Thank you very much for your introduction, for your kind words. And yes, it is a journey. It was a journey. It is already a year that we're working on the subject of tokenization, and it's great. So before we start, I want to say that my name is Deyev. I'm CEO and co-founder at Stobox, as well as our new subsidiary company and subsidiary product, complementary Soulbound ID, that we're going to speak today. Our company focuses on the tokenization, and today we will tell you more on how this works, what has been done, what are the plans in respect to global portfolio STO, and we will also speak about the importance of the Soulbound IDs. But before we move on, I would like to also introduce my friend, co-founder of Stobox and Soulb ID as well, and the Chief Operating Officer at Stobox, Ross Shem. Please, Ross.
Yeah, Mila, first of all, thank you a lot for your introduction, and thank you, Jean. It is a pleasure to be here. And Mila, you mentioned very important topics about the financial freedom, right? That we'll discuss further. And guys, please listen carefully to Jean, to Mila, because today we are going to share the market insights. There are more details about their STO of crypto unit and Evorich security token and the Soulb ID. And it is great to be here, and you will be rewarded on the information that you will get, and I'm sure that you will benefit from it. Thank you.
Next slide, please.
Okay, guys, so before we will start the explanation, very important to understand that Soulb ID, right? It is a sub-project of Stobox, and in Stobox, we're focusing for the last 5 years in the topics around the tokenization. We were one of the first companies that doing tokenization in the world, and at this point, we have more than 60 clients that believe in us and doing tokenization, right? Doing the STO, and of course, one of our priority clients, it is Evorich and crypto unit security token. And as Mila mentioned, we met together in Sigma ABC in Dubai, where we as a Stobox participated and as exhibitor. And when I met Mila, we recognized that we have the same vision. So we're developing the whole infrastructure and conducted a lot of and spent a lot of energy, time, and money on tokenization. And crypto unit have a great vision of global portfolio fund that one security token can back by many of companies, and people community can benefit from it. And at this point, we have more than 4 products inside our ecosystem. It is Digital Securities Dashboard. It is their solution, SaaS solution for the primary issues for security tokens. And we were developed one of the first platforms for security tokens in the world 3 years ago. And this platform, of course, will be used by a crypto unit to relaunch their STO, right? The second product that we have, it is DS Dashboard. It is an advanced system for the primary issues of the security token. And the third product that we have, it is DS Swap. It is a secondary market venue, secondary market for security tokens. And by launching and developing their DS Swap, we created one of the first DEXs, decentralized exchanges, optimized for security tokens, right? We were one of the first in the world who did it. And of course, we're currently developing the Soulb ID as an entry to our ecosystem. It is decentralized identity, and we'll talk about this further. And at this moment, we conducted more than 60,000 hours of research of different nuances, cases, pitfalls, regulation, how it works, how it could be done, what is the technology, right? And why we're doing so? Because when we started this business 5 years ago with Gene, we did a lot of mistakes. We spent millions of dollars from our own pocket to lawyers to educate them what tokenization is. That's why we created our own internal analytical department to understand all the nuances of the STO. So what we currently do, we help other businesses, right, to avoid mistakes that we did, because we accumulated the perfect knowledge about how it works, and help to introduce to tokenization properly, to be in a compliant infrastructure, in compliant environment, and fulfill their existing and the upcoming regulation. So we're thinking in a few steps further for Stobox and for our clients to fulfill all necessary laws that is we currently have and that is upcoming around the world. And we are recognized by a few awards. For example, in Sigma ABC Summit, we won the award like Best Tokenization Provider of the Year. And 1 year ago, we won the award like Best Tokenization Provider by the Hacker Noon. It is recognized tech media from US. And also, we issued a book in collaboration with Malta Digital Innovation Authority. It is Maltese regulator, about how to do the STO properly, right? And usually I hear and I see the questions in the chat from the community about our backers and about our followers and about our community in Soulb. So, because Soulb, it is a sub-project of Stobox. We and Stobox have, for example, one of the biggest blog in the world about the topic of tokenization. And also we have #1 YouTube channel in the world where we streamline and broadcast about the STO. So it is the biggest YouTube channel in the world about the topics of tokenization. You can go to the YouTube, text Stobox, and check more than 300 videos recorded by us about their STOs, right? And it is also very important to mention. And for example, just a few weeks ago, we were recognized as a best analytical provider of the year by the Tokenizer. So they're one of the biggest media in tokenization industry, the Tokenizer, issued an annual report about the best articles of the year. And Stobox articles are top 1 and top 2, the most viewed and the most popular articles of the year. And it is a big pleasure for us. Thank you.
Next slide, please. Yes, thank you, Ross. Guys, I would like to speak here more about the Stobox DNA and what actually we do and what is our vision. And let's start with the fact that Stobox is it's a technology company. So first of all, in our vision is that we bring technology, and technology in a form of tokenization and the Web3. For you guys who don't know, Web3 is a kind of new iteration of a World Wide Web, where the blockchain is used as the underlying database, like a global decentralized tool where these different decentralized apps are built on. And this is kind of new concept of the internet that has emerged actually 10 years ago, but now with that Web3 is evolving. So we're using these concepts, we're using the concept of Web3, and we build liquid markets and the technology for liquid markets for private companies in terms of tokenization. But what are the values and how it's being done? So, and why it's being done? So the idea behind is to, first of all, to promote community-driven businesses. Because look, what is a tokenization? Is the asset, is the process of transferring something to the blockchain. And when we say security tokens or assets, it means that we take that big asset from a paper-based ledger, like securities ledger. In any country, there are different types of those databases, old legacy, accessible through notaries. So that's a legacy stuff. What we do is that we allow to transfer those assets to the legal and compliant framework based on the decentralized technologies to unlock the power of community business. And you would never, ever see a private company owned by 100,000 of people globally, because it's impossible to manage. What we do and what tokenization provides is the ability for such companies to exist. And this is a good example of the Evorich, because we might have hundreds of thousands of shareholders, of security token owners from different jurisdictions being put on a single decentralized ledger. And of course, that creates an accessibility, because it's difficult to travel around the world and invest into local enterprise. It's much easier to invest into global enterprise and make sure you can easy enter and easy liquidate. That's also important, the liquidity. So that's what I said in the first place, providing the liquidity and technological ability for those liquidity on the private markets. It's very important. And of course, you can't do these things without becoming an innovator and becoming a promoter of this technology, of the tech evolution. So one of the values that Stobox has is that we promote technology and we promote innovation. But because there's a lot of people who are potentially will be joining this wave of tokenization, it's important for us to cut the corners, in the sense that we have to make tokenization, which is a very complex process, and it implies legal aspects, it implies corporate finance, it implies technological nuances, issuance, secondary. There's a lot of things have to be taken into consideration in order to succeed. But what we try to do, and what our goal is to simplify this process as soon as possible and as easy as possible, in a way that issuers would benefit from it, as well as the investors. I think, thanks. Next slide, please.
Yes, a small comment from my side. So very important to understand that all of the products that we develop, and the question why we're doing so. First of all, because we want to conduct the business in the same way. I believe that great people thinking in the one direction, right? In the same direction. Because when we 5 years ago started the Stobox, Mila Armand started the crypto unit, right? With the idea of the STO. And why we're doing so? Because we as a Stobox want to conduct this business in this way. That's why once we released our product, we tokenized ourselves and conducted our own STO to show as an example how it could be done for other businesses. Because we believe in this, right? In the STOs, and we want to manage our company in this way, paying dividends in one click, distribute through the investors, right? And provide the one window where we can attract money globally around the world. And it is very important. And also, when we talk about our partners, right, it is very interesting and very important point, because it is the backers of our project. And I want to be honest with you, we doing much more than we speak. And it is our problem, because we achieved a lot and we have developed a great products. That's why it is great to be here to share with you what we have done and what we're expecting to develop, right? Because you have always the opportunity cost. I'm sure that Mila knows about it. You can work or you can talk, right? Currently, we prepare work. And through these webinars, it is a great opportunity to us to share how it could be done and what we are doing, right? So when we talk about the partners, we have our compliance partners. I call it compliance, right? Because it is KYC partner, know your client, right? KYB partners, it is know your business. And KYT partners, it is know your transaction. It is sums up the doing KYC checks for us, the identity verification. And for example, sums up do the KYC for Binance. And they also believe and support Stobox and Soulb ID, right? It is the iComply, they do KYB for Microsoft. And it is a Crystal, it is #1 KYT provider in the world. So all of these guys will help us and will integrate with our products to fulfill the compliance, right? Because it is licensed providers, recognized providers that will help us with our products. And also we have technical partners. It is, for example, the Fireblocks. It is #1 custodial solution in the world. It is ScienceSoft. It is audit company that do audits for IBM, for NASA, for Nestle, right? It is also a recognized company. And we have our blockchain partners. It is Algorand, it is Elrond, it is Binance Smart Chain, and it is Metis, L2 layer. And by the way, Metis was founded by Vitalik Buterin's mom, that also supporting us, supporting Stobox in respect of STO and Soulb ID, and we're speaking directly to her, right? And also, as I mentioned, we're very actively contributing to the industry at all. So we're working with Cointelegraph, Bitcoin.com, Blockchain News, NTD, the Tokenized, Securities.io, Finovate, HackerNoon, Startup Info. So with a lot of media where we for free, me and Jean and Stobox professionals, right? We're sharing the professional content about the tokenization to educate businessmen how it works. And also we are very actively participating in association, Crypto Valley Association. It is the biggest blockchain community, business community in Europe, and Global Digital Finance Association. It is one of the biggest association in finance in US. And all of these partners, right, believe in us and support support us with our products and with their with the vision and with the implementation of our ideas that we're digesting to the community. Next slide.
Yes. Thank you, Ross. Okay, let me let me speak more about what we call a digital securities ecosystem, a Stobox ecosystem. And here you will see 4 products that actually creates the ecosystem. And the first and our first product from Stobox is, as we have already mentioned, is the DS dashboard. So basically, what is it? It's a SaaS platform. SaaS stands for software as a service. So we actually white label this. We provide this for the white labeling to our clients. It's not a one centralized platform where all the security tokens are. That's the software that every issuer installs for themselves. So every issuer has their logo, has their investors, and the same way will be done for the Evorich community. The DS dashboard, it's optimized and is done in order to do all operations with security tokens. And this, we're talking about the life cycle. And usually it's you create a security token, you manage the security token, you distribute, you do anything with this. And then the last part is the redemption, where the company closes, or for example, the security are redeemed. So this is a primary venue based on the blockchain ledger. We don't store the data. Data is being stored on the blockchain. It's fully transparent. And we use our knowledge and this technology to basically put securities, corporate securities on the blockchain through this dashboard. The second product that I would like to mention is the Stobox DSWap. And it's a decentralized secondary market because securities, unlike traditional crypto utility tokens, because they're securities and they're heavy regulated financial instruments. And when it comes to the primary issuance on the primary sale, it's complicated, yeah. But when it comes to the secondary, it's even more complicated in the sense that you have to comply with the different rules and international regulations on the management of securities. It's not about security. It's not about utility tokens. It's not about the crypto. It's about managing of corporate securities on the secondary market. And what we did, we created a decentralized automatic platform that would, first of all, allow secondary market for the security tokens, at the same time providing compliance and regulatory standards for the companies. So it was a challenge, but we have already listed our clients, and more clients we have, more clients are successful on the first phase with the DS dashboard. better, and then they come on the secondary market of the swap. Look, the third part is that what we'll be talking today is the Soulbound. Think of this as the blockchain is anonymous, right? It's a big database where you cannot delete the data from, but you can write from block to block to block. But who can write? Who can manage this? Addresses. But that's how industry, all the crypto evolved, and it's anonymous. And when we speak about security tokens, when we speak about decentralized finance, when we say that word finance, we understand that, I mean, you can't open a bank account without a passport, right? You can't travel without a passport. So the identification is an extremely important point in compliance, as well as in just resiliency of the financial resiliency of the system, because you cannot allow anonymous people to interact with securities, in this sense, with the security tokens, so with the tokenized assets. This is why we have implemented Soulb ID as the front way, is the gateway of where everybody who would like to participate in Stobox ecosystem, invest, deploy, use secondary trading, mint your own tokens, create an issuer. All of these operations has to be done in a safe, validated environment. And when we say validated, it means that behind those anonymous addresses, there will be an identity attached, your identities. So in this case, the system, not the compliance manager who checks the passport with the fillings, but an automated algorithms would understand that this wallet belongs to a person with certain rights and certain limits, which allows them to do certain operations. So in order to automate, and remember, we've said the vision and the mission, we need to automate that thing. We need to make it as simple as possible. And then to simplify, we'd have to put it on the technological rails. So the compliance and the ID part is the essential integral system of the whole ecosystem, of this whole Stobox ecosystem. And the last but not the least, it's not a product. It's not a product in the sense where you can use it, but it's under the hood. It's what is called Progress Protocol. It's a set of smart contracts that ensure compliance and ensure regulations. So there's different countries with different regulations, and some of them are quite heavy. For example, in the case of United States, there's a lot of heavy regulations, so what we did, we analyzed them all, we made a code out of them. So we basically digitized all the regulations, put them in the smart contracts, and call it a validator, because this protocol is actually a validation mechanism answering the questions if this issuer can sell securities to that investor and vice versa. So, and all these other rules somewhere have to be melted, and they're melted in the Progress Protocol. So it's not the product that we can type, you can use, but it's a product within the ecosystem that creates compliance and meets the regulatory requirements for all of our clients, for all of our issuers and the investors. Next slide, please. Okay, yes, and this is an interesting slide. I would like to go and ask also Ross to comment on the things that we do for global portfolio STO. And again, we as a technology company, we as an advisory company have came up with certain important steps that have to be done in order to meet compliance and regulatory criteria for the global portfolio fund. So first of all is that we advise and we help with the regulatory framing and compliance, because again, we're talking about more than 100 jurisdictions, and it's quite challenging, and it's very interesting to bring it down to understandable documents that are based on legalities and on today's compliance. So that's the first thing that we do. Secondly, what we do is that we introduce a new STO token. So a new STO token, what I mean is that would be created, and this is the next point, on the Binance Smart Chain. So that's a token which would be created on a public smart chain on the Binance. That would be managed and distributed through the Stobox DS dashboard. That's the platform for the primary issuance. So there will be a standalone platform with a security token, fully regulated and compliant, based on this on the Binance Smart Chain. There is a point about the conversion from CRU and WCRU. I would like to mention, yes, there's a conversion mechanism, and we have to maintain it. But the more details about the conversion and the rates and the dates of the conversion, I think that the Evorich and Mila would make comments on this. It's very important to understand that nobody can access the ecosystem, the compliance part of the ecosystem, without the Soulb identity, because the identity, it's a basically whitelisting it's your passport on the blockchain. So all the management of the security tokens and all the digital assets within the ecosystem will be only done by wallets who have previously been verified through Soulbound ID. The next point is, obviously, we will implement the secondary market, the decentralized secondary market, once the phase of the STO would be successfully completed. There will be additional pairs, additional liquidity would be done with existing pairs of the CRU token, as well as Binance stable token, which is called BUSD. And the last but not the least is we're updating the tokenomics. So we are advising and helping on the figures and the calculations of how the tokenomics of the new STO token, as well as how it fits into the general picture of average assets. So we're working on this part as well. Ross, if you have any comments on this.
Yes, I want to mention that about the issuing a new token and about the compliance. It is not because the Mila and crypto unit want so, and not because we want so. It is because the regulation. Remember what I mentioned. Mila, Armand, and crypto unit were in 10 steps above, right, further than regulation and the evolving of the regulation. And what we currently see, that regulation is here, right? And it is very important to conduct their STO properly. That's what we're overseeing and assisting to the crypto unit to conduct it successfully, right? But in effect, that you need to fulfill their existing regulation and upcoming regulation. And our main goal, it is oversee and fulfill all of these laws to be as great, as perfect as we can to make the best STO on the market, right? But by doing so, we need to done a lot of nuances and check a lot of nuances and legal nuances. That takes time. Why it takes time? Because there are around 200 or 300 jurisdictions of the investors inside the global portfolio fund. Look, guys, 300 jurisdictions. Every jurisdiction has a different laws with tons of papers, right? And you need to check them and be sure that everything is compliant and good. So we're expecting to issue their new STO, and we make sure that everything is good. Thank you, Gene.
Thank you. Next slide, please. Yes, and this is just a print screens of the dashboard. Just for your visual recognition, before we launch the STO of global portfolio, we will definitely launch a demo environment on a demo blockchain. So it may look complicated, and I know security tokens and the nuances about the issuances, about the payment terms, and so on and so forth are quite advanced in a sense from the financial standpoint. So we will prepare a demo environment prior to the real STO, where all of the community with the Soulb ID may start playing with to understand the mechanics.
Yeah.
So you will pretty much be ready when the full STO will be launched. Yes,
exactly. Exactly. So what you currently see, it's like the example how it will looks like when the STO will live. So prior their STO, right, a new STO of crypto unit, of course, will conduct different webinars about how to use it, what is the logic, and it is a big step for you as well, because after this free course, you will understand, and in a practical way, you will be able to use the security tokens and understand what is going under the hood and what is the logic under it.
Yes, thank you. May we have a next slide, please? Yes, and again, maybe Mila would add something more, but this is from our side, from Stobox side, from the more technological side. What are the requirements for the STO? So first of all, the identity is required in order to enter the ecosystem to start with. Obviously, you have to be whitelisted in a sense that there are certain jurisdictions which have to be excluded from the STO. Some of them will be included. So the list will be provided by the global portfolio, and all the whitelisted countries, of course, will be included. So you have to double check on this. The initial balances of WCRU would be required to swap, to change from a legacy system to the blockchain on the Binance. And yes, Mila, would you like to comment on this? If you have any comments, please.
Yes, thank you. Thanks, Ross and Jean. So I can see there are a few questions also in the chat, so I will comment and I will reply also these questions. So what you saw from the previous slide and this slide is a step-by-step strategy, what will happen next. So there is a platform. The platform is already ready from STO box point of view. So now it ball is on our side, because what is happening at the moment, the companies that we have in our ecosystem, all these assets, they need to be evaluated, and we will start adding them one by one. Because as I mentioned to you in the previous slides, there are some companies and information we are able to retrieve. There are some which we are not able to retrieve. So the new token which will be created, STO token, it will have a different name. We will move from the WCRU for the compliance reasons. So it will be a new token with a new entity, but all members who has the token already on our blockchain, on Crypto Union blockchain, we will give a possibility to do conversion according to your country. For those of you who have missed the webinar when we explain what country can go for the STO and what country cannot, please make sure that you check recordings on our official channel, or you can also have a look at the back office. There is a table and news about what countries are able to have STO and what countries are not. So those of you who are living in the countries with a full compliance structure, you would be given access to the platform. You would be able to have the Soulbound ID token to not just for our projects, but for many other projects to come. Again, this is not something we created in order to charge people more money. The idea of this token that it will be working with the different blockchains, with the different projects. So it's like almost like your passport. Once you have your passport, you can use it on the different platforms, regardless if it's our STO or somebody else's STO or any other projects. So therefore, you will get access to the platform. You'll get access to their new STO token. You would have your Soulbound ID, and also you would be able to use the internal market to trade, to exchange. It will be different pairs between CRU and WCRU, which then will be converted to the new token. There are also different platforms which are provided by the STO box as well for the internal trade and for external option for the big investors and for qualified investors to come to the token. And everything will be on this platform, the one you just been briefly shown. So the tokens will be whitelisted there. Every single client will have their own ID on passport. Every single client will have a number of token which you have at the moment. You would be able to convert them to the new token according to a number of companies we move to the new companies. And also we will introduce you at the later stage updated tokenomics and updated white paper. Because again, what has been presented to you at the beginning, and now the concept has changed a little bit from numbers point of view, not from philosophy point of view, not from ideas point of view. We still stick to our plan, but because of the different situations which has happened for the last few years, we need to adapt and adjust. So therefore, you will be hearing and you will be seeing lots of new updated documents for the STO project, and you just need to make sure that you are fully registered on every single platform which company will introduce you, that you are fully compliant, that you provide the old document, that you have the access to the SOLBID ID. And if you want to also participate in the internal token offering, this is also a possibility, and we will cover this in later this webinar.
Yep.
Perfect. Thank you. May we have a next slide, please? Yes, Ross, would you like to comment on this part?
Yes, sure. So the topic around the regulation, and as Jin mentioned, when we talk about the tokenization or DeFi is decentralized finance. It calls finance, and when we're dealing with the finance, we're dealing with the regulation, because you cannot open a bank account without any papers, you cannot travel without the papers, and so on, right? So regulation, it is very important, because remember, we're talking not about the just crypto, right? It is a different regulation. We're talking about the corporate finance and regulation of the corporate securities. Corporate securities could be in the paper form and could be in the blockchain form that we are doing. We help businesses to transform the shares, right, securities from paper form to blockchain, and we're dealing with the regulation. So we can speak about this or we can ignore, it doesn't matter. The fact is that regulation is here, and the regulation is evolving. And for example, in Europe, it is already there a legal enforcement that every transaction in a blockchain or in the swap, it doesn't matter where, above the 1,000 euro need to be KYC'd and AML, and you need to fulfill it, right? That's why it kills the business of Uniswap, of PancakeSwap, of 1inch. And currently, the big guys currently sitting and thinking about how to fulfill the regulation. But our products are ready and adapted to the regulation from the day one. Why? Because we understand from the beginning how it works, and we understand that it will be fully regulated. That's why our products are compliant, right, from the first day of the deployment and of the releases. And through the Soulb ID, it is exact their opportunity and the chance to fulfill the regulation, because to have and to get their identity, your decentralized passport, right, you are compliant. Why? Because you are verified and you can interact in the blockchain ecosystem. And what we currently see, as I mentioned, it is the evolving of the regulation. And in the upcoming months, all the DEXs, all the bridges will be regulated. Why? Because we already see the laws, and currently it is just a matter of time when. Because all of the big guys and regulators currently creating their authorities and the papers about how to control it. But the laws are already here. For example, in Europe, they already created their AMLA. It is global AML regulator that will oversee and control all the DeFi and DEXs in Europe, right? That's why it is that's why we created the Soulb ID, right, to fulfill the regulation and to use it in our products, decentralized products, in all of the products of Evorich and crypto unit blockchain based, right, to fulfill their regulation that is important. Jane, do you have any comments?
No, I don't. Let's go to the next slide, please.
Nice.
Yes, look, guys, these are the figures which have been recently published by the World Economic Forum. And according to their estimates, the volume of tokenized assets will reach 24 trillion by 2027. Actually, I'm not that optimistic. I think it will take a bit longer, but we can see the wave. The wave is coming, and these are the words from the CEO of BlackRock, from the from the Security Exchange Commission. Look, all the assets will be tokenized. Nobody needs that paper-based securities any longer. You can divide all these companies around the world into two classes, public and private. Public, like Tesla, public, they're traded on London Stock Exchange, New York Stock Exchange, and other public stock exchanges. But the public companies, they account only for 1% of the total global wealth. So what you like following the Bloomberg and you see like you're within the market for 1%. The rest 99 are private companies, privately held assets. In what form? In legacy databases, in governmental databases, paper forms, doesn't matter. They're not on the blockchain. And what this slide shows, they don't show how many public companies will move to the blockchain because there is no point. They're already liquid, they're already public. But how private companies would move. So the wave is tremendous. And in order to support this, it has to be supported by the technology. And this is why Stobox is doing what we're doing. We're building the technology to be able to support that demand of the assets. And we see it from the number of clients that we have. And we see it from the amounts of mentions and the interest from the general community. Because look, people migrate, people travel. And with the issues of COVID, with the today's environments, traveling or investing should not be physically connected to the place where you are. Investing is something which you can have in your phone. And what phone gives you today is the access to public companies, to Tesla. That's good, but that's not enough. Where's the rest 99% of the potential assets? So this question is what tokenization will answer. But because it's on the blockchain, and it's very interesting how it blends, because from one standpoint, we're talking about real world assets. On the other hand, we talk about the adoption of the crypto technologies, because that thing is built on crypto. So for us, it's very important to understand that today we account for more than 150 million of active Web3, of active blockchain users. Look, there are 8 billion people. Look at the potential, not just in amounts of tokenized assets, but in the potential of how many people will come to the blockchain within the next years, within the next decade. And just by understanding the regulations and by having this potential shift of that private assets to blockchain, who will be the users? Okay, that 150 million, that's one thing, but there's much more new people that will be coming. So it's a two waves coming in front of each other, where we see a great potential for Stobox, a great potential for ourselves, a great potential for the market itself, and the idea of putting this in a very liquid and instant settlement. Imagine you're buying a company, you're sitting in US and you're buying a company in Zurich, and then you sell it to a person from Australia and so on and so forth. It was never that easy from the operational standpoint, but it's a very complex from the building part. That's why we have already devoted 5 years and happy to devote 5 more. Yes, Ross, please.
Yeah, guys, look, the market and potential of tokenization is really huge. Imagine we have only in the world the real estate for around $50 trillion, and it is just one industry, real estate, right? And you have other industries as well. So the potential is really huge. And currently, what we see a big attention to tokenization now. Why? Because currently people understand why we doing this and why we started this business 5 years ago. So after the crash of big crypto companies, FTX, and so on, people lost the money, right? And now they understand, and they're looking to at least save something. And security tokens are great alternative. Why? Because it's a different regulation, more advanced, more heavy, right? From the protectors of the protection of the investors. And you can at least have the security token backed by real estate, backed by company securities, backed by global portfolio fund, backed by land, backed by manufacture, right? Of course, maybe you will not make 100x in one day, right? But you can have a dividends, you can expect the price appreciation because it is security token if the company goes well, and it is the right instrument. And as Jen mentioned in our YouTube channel, we invited and recorded the videos that you can check it out with the recognized and with famous celebrities in fintech industry. For example, with head of blockchain in London Stock Exchange Group, with ex-president of NASDAQ, of legal senior counsel in SEC, Security and Exchange Commission. And all of these guys agreed with us that all of financial instruments will be tokenized. And imagine the amount of people that will use it. Imagine the amount of companies that will be tokenized. So we just in the beginning. It is just the beginning, and it is opportunity to you to understand it, right? To benefit from it, because 99% of all of these people do not understand what's going on. And through these webinars and through the listening carefully and noting what Armand, Mila said, right, and what we present, it is the ability to you to understand how you can benefit from it and catch the right trends from the beginning.
Thank you, Ross. Now, can we have a next slide, please? Yes, and probably most of you have already heard about the Soulbound ID. I would like just to mention that that's a decentralized identity part of our ecosystem, and it's a complementary project to Stobox, and is a part of the Stobox ecosystem. Next slide, please. Okay, let me first define so everybody understands correctly. Soulb ID, SBID, it's something which is not transferable. It's like a passport. You verify, you get this SBID on the wallet. That's simple as that. Why it's not transferable? Because passports are not transferable, because this is your own data, encrypted and saved as the hashed. Nobody sees your pictures, nobody knows your name, but this hash is readable by the smart contracts. And this hash means, which is stored on your wallet upon the registration, means that with this wallet, you can access and cruise around the ecosystem, buy, sell, do whatever operations. Why? Because you have this as SBID. And again, it's only possible because of the blockchain technology. It's not centralized, it's decentralized. That's why we call it decentralized identity. And it's not only the ID, it's not only the identity part which can be stored. And I will show you a bit later, because there's plenty of other implementations. Like, look, there are awards, there are educations, there's different, so like non-transferable, only yours piece of data they can store on your wallet. And your wallet is like the core of your activity on the blockchain. When you answer the blockchain, what does it mean? You already has been generated a wallet, and you're using this wallet to buy assets, to sell assets, to store assets, to sign transactions, to do any operations. So with this wallet being now recognized, the operations may be possible or not possible, depending on, and again, we can put anything inside. We'll start with the identity, but then we'll work on the awards. We will work on on the education part. So if you have, let's say you went to university, you got the diploma, but diploma what? In the paper form. Like you don't travel with this. Okay, you put it on the LinkedIn CV. That's fine, but nobody can verify. I mean, most of you are on LinkedIn and you see how many fraud we see there. But if your personal wallet will contain an NFT, an NTT token, non-transferable token, that was minted by your university, anybody who would like to double check on you has that perfect piece of validation coming from that specific university. And it's a trustless, but it's a fully trusty environment. You can trust that thing. and you can't trust the image on the LinkedIn. Right. This is the difference between Web3 and Web2. Web2, that's a bit of a legacy part. Now is coming Web3 with these types of technologies which you cannot fake, which you can't where algorithms validate, and that's great. In terms of Stobox, what does that gives you? It gives you an access to tokenized assets. Again, as Mila correctly said, it's not only Evorich client, it's other 60 plus, and we hope to increase the number, not by just say by zeros, because of the streamlining of the technology. We will be using a great technology this year. We will probably auto scale the whole issuance. I will tell on this a bit later. So that's that this identity gives you an access to a regulated environment. This ID will give you a potential of investing into different private rounds, because you'll be in the first place. You're already in the ecosystem. Whoever comes as a new product, new company, new tokenized asset, you will have a possibility at least to look at it. And that's it's either you have it or you don't have it. So with the Soulb ID, you have it. And definitely it gives compliancy on the decentralized finance. Because look, if you play with Web3 and if you have played on with swaps, you probably heard a lot of pumps and dumps where people lose money. There's a lot of frauds. There's what is called the rug pulls. People add liquidity, somebody else takes out all this liquidity, and people are left with nothing. So we know this risk because we're in crypto since 2017, and a year of education actually made us make a decision to go for the compliancy of that part. So what we build is the compliant DeFi ecosystem where anybody can have a safer place to interact with. And again, it's the same technology stack. The only difference is the identity part, because it's either anonymous, where anybody can do any type of operations and nobody knows who has rug pulled, whereas here all the operations is only possible with the Soulb IDs. In this case, I mean, nobody would even think of doing such. So we decrease the potential fraud, and we decrease the chance of scams within Stobox ecosystem to 99.9%. And that's unlike with the traditional crypto environments, which most of investors call Wild West and so on. So yes, may we have a next slide, please?
Yes, and just a comment from my side. So Soulbound, it is a new class of tokens, right? It is a new class, like NFTs before, right? So please listen carefully. And Soulbound, it is Vitalik Buterin speaking about it. Binance implementing internally in their projects, right? So it is a new trend, and it is just on the beginning because nobody understands what it is, right? That's why we're broadcasting, explaining, but it is very important information. I'm sure that you never heard about Soulbounds, and I see a few questions, and I saw a few questions in the live webinars that we conducted before. Why your project called Soulbound ID? I'm selling or buying my soul, or what? Soulbounds, it is a class of assets, right? And our project name, it is Soulbound ID, because we're using Soulbound technology in IDs, in identity verification, to be compliant. And please do not concern about their Soulbound token and Soulbound ID, because Soulbound token, it is a utility token, it is a payment token, right? And identity, it is a non-transferable token, because your identity, it is your passport. You cannot sell your passport. It is weird, right? That's why you can purchase in the CoinSet platform the Soulb tokens. It is utility payments token, to be able to purchase as a way of payment through their Soulb tokens, the IDs, right? And be verified and be compliant.
Thank you, Ross. So guys, look, they're going to be 5 identities, 5 types of identities. And even though it may look a bit tricky to you, it's very simple. There's 2 types for regular investors, P and P+. That's a basic KYC check. If you're on the Binance, if you're on Gata, you're regardless. If you went through KYC, this is the same easy process, but it's not done by us. It's done by our partner, SumSub. So it's important to understand that we don't store the data. We don't have access to the data. We don't resell, sell, or manage this data. This data is stored where it's supposed to be stored. And this is a regulated provider to be able to store personal data like yours and like our clients. It's called SumSub, regulated in 180 countries. You can go on the website, check what type of documents they check and so on. This is not just the documents, it's a biometric check. This is where you have to, rotate your head and do some sort of, mimics. In this case, the algorithms understand that you haven't bought your documents on the dark web, right? You haven't got it from your friend and just scanning it to the system. No, that's an advanced biometrical system that would validate that this person is allowed to enter the compliant blockchain financial space where the security tokens are. And it's important. So the difference between P and P+ is the limits. It's the same with the bank. Look, I will just give you an explanation. That additional two types of data is the utility bill, which shows your residency, and proof of funds. Why? Because the compliance says so. It's not we impose the limits as Stobox or as Soulb ID. We just say, we want to limit people for 25,000. No, the general rules of internationally recognized AML procedures, anti-money laundering procedures, state that if your transactions, if your investment limit is below 25,000, this biometric and passport check is enough. But if you want to invest more than 25,000, you need to provide a utility bill, which is exactly where you live and where you got this money from. Why it's important? First of all, because it's a compliance with the regulations. Okay, but why it's important? Because we don't want black money cruising within this ecosystem. We're building a compliant, resilient financial markets where there's no room for scammers, there's no room for drug money, there's no room for any dirty money. This is why we implement rules, and this is why we build what we build. So this is the compliance policies that we are adopting and we're implementing. The third token, which is called the SBID A+, it's for what is called accredited investors. It's a different class of professional investors. It's a personal, it's not a corporate identity, it's a personal identity. But usually this is a highly wealthy people who professionally invest into securities. And they are accredited investors. They may call differently. They're accredited, they're professional or sophisticated. There are ones in Switzerland, in US, there are one in Britain. And this is a separate class. And the rules for this class are different than the rules to regular P investors. Why? Because if you're accredited investor, there's no limits for you. You can invest millions and millions. Why? Because you're rich enough, because you have that status, and that status is a part of decentralized identity that we have as well. And the last two IDs are meant for companies. The C is a simple company. Again, an investor may be a corporate investor, and it's very, very common in financial markets. It's not me buying, it's my company buying or investing. It's simple. So we have to validate companies. And again, you can't do, unfortunately, you can't do biometrics check. How would you validate the company? So this is why we rely on our legal partners, international legal partners, because we are not entitled. We don't have skills and knowledge to verify if this company is fine or not. But we are partnering with the KYB, Know Your Business providers, and they will be able to perform such checks. Why? Because again, we don't want to have a one-day companies, zero bubbled companies on our framework, because that type of companies usually bring most of the risk. And our mission is to build an ecosystem where the risks are, maximally removed. We can't remove all the risk, but we can do our job for these risks to be removed. So the compliance check of the companies investors, corporate investors is important. And the C+ is token is the identity for the issuer. So if a company would like to issue their security tokens, and we understand the difference, of course, the issuer has to be much more trusted, because an investor, a corporate investor, okay, he owns a stake in a security token pools in a company, that's okay. But now you're creating the asset, and you will be offering this asset to the community. So there'll be additional checks, and it's very important that this company is trusted, validated inside out, so they don't create any assets that would have zero value at the end of the day. So all these 5 types of SBIDs, of identities, are made on a different smart contracts. This system, our validator, what I call in the beginning, would automatically verify if it's a P token, or if it's an A token, or if it's a C+. And then all this magic, which we call a compliance magic and regulatory standards magic, will be done based on the algorithm. So imagine how many compliance people you would need to have to run a company who has 100,000 of investors. Like, I would tell you, you will have tens and tens of compliance managers just to 24/7 working. We remove that legacy process and make smart contracts work. And this is the engine how they're going to work, because this will differentiate people from companies, different statuses, different limits, whitelisting statuses, regulations, and then they can all easily manageable. These tokens will be manageable on the Stobox DS ecosystem. Right. Next slide, please. I hope that is okay. Yeah, please, Ross.
Can we move one slide back? Yeah, thank you. So guys, long story short, you have a different types of identity, right? If you the investor, if you the person, it divides into the 3, right? It is P, P+, and A+. P and P+, P it's the regular one if you're looking to invest in the future for the STOs, for example, of the Evorich or other STOs above the 25,000, it fits you, right? If you're looking to invest more than 25,000, you need to get P+. That's all. And also it is A+. A+, it is for accredited investors. What does that mean? Accredited. It is a professional investors in your jurisdiction. For example, in US, it is the people who has the accreditation, who earns annually more than $300,000 and so on. It is the official documents from the regulator that you are the accredited investors and you have this accreditation. That's easy. And 2 IDs divides and belongs to the companies. It is C and C+. And it is also a different limits for different companies. If you want to invest with the low limits, right, it is C+. If you're looking to invest as a company millions of dollars, it is C+, right? And that's all. Next slide, please. And very important that all of these identities will be bought and will be purchased only through the Soulbound token, utility token that is available in CoinSet platform that you can purchase. All of these identities will be go through only their Soulb ID utility token. Next slide, please.
Yes, Ross, thank you. We have already, I have already explained this. Meanwhile, I was explaining other slides, but it's important to mention safety. So again, the data is stored, the primary data is stored with a regulated KYC, KYB providers. This data is fully compliant, and they are compliant with this local data storage and so on. So for us, by bringing new partners, of course, we rely on them, and it's important that we never want to hold this data, because you have to have a it's a standalone business. You have to have a lot of things from the regulatory standpoint to be able to store this 150 nationalities data. So we pass it to the professional guys. The transparency, of course, once because you've issued this wallet address on the Binance, so it doesn't matter, and then you attach your identity onto it. But anyway, you will be able to see all these transparent separations on the other scan, and whatever you do on the blockchain, there is a transparency, which is very important. Unlike with the Web2 legacy system. So where somebody can delete the transaction, here nobody can delete. Blockchain works only one way. You can only store the data, you can read the data, but you can't delete the data. And the next point is variability. This is already explained. You can store not only IDs with this Soulbounds, but you can use. There's plenty of other cases. Look, there's a recent case in Canada where they're using Soulbound technology and the NFT technology to store medical data in hospitals. In this case, all the medical data that patients have is not stored on the centralized servers, but stored encrypted on the blockchain, and the only person who holds the private keys may unlock this information to doctor. And that's the first great implementations of non-transferable. You can't transfer your medical history to another person, but you can use the same type of technology. And we see it. You see, it's not only in the financial world. We're now seeing this in medical industry. So besides our Stobox ecosystem, the Soulbounds will be used in other third-party DeFi applications. We start with our ecosystem. We need to test it first, but we're already working on let's call it a set of libraries, a set of tools for any DEX on the market today, implement our technology and show their users that there is a compliant way. They cannot limit their users. We can't create a dependency on us, but we can integrate, and we'll provide that integration to third party, because when the regulations will be fully enforced, when I say most, I mean 99.5% of today's DeFi market would be outside the compliance, like full stop. And because it's built mostly by the gigs, mostly by talented engineers, and they're lacking talented legal providers. They're great in tech, but there would be issues with the compliance. There would be issues with the regulations. And this is why, again, when Ross perfectly explained this at the beginning, we started this 5 years ago with this exact vision. And we're just putting more and more power within this vision. So now we'll be sharing this vision on a technological level with the people who are not as advanced in tokenization as us, but they're maybe much more advanced in the tech. So that's something that we will bring to our open market in 2023. Yeah. And again, the last but not the least, remember that Soulb ID is the entrance to the Stobox ecosystem. We cannot build a sustainable blockchain-based system without verification, without the required verification of addresses based on the compliance rules and so on. So yes, Ross, if you would like to add something here.
It was clear. Next slide, please.
Thank you.
Yes, guys. So we have a dual token model, and currently we are in the process of sales round of Soulb utility token, right? That is available in a CoinSet platform that you can purchase, right? But in the future, in the upcoming months, it is just for your global understanding. We will issue as well their security token, and you'll be able to convert the utility to security to become the official shareholder of Soulb company. But it will be done in the future. Currently, we're running the first phase of the sales round of their our utility token Soulb. But for you, I'm sure it is important to understand that you will be able to be and to join their official shareholder list of our company. Next slide, please. It is what I mentioned. Currently, we are in the private sale phase 1. And at this point, it is their lowest price and the best terms ever. Why? Why? Because it is the first phase, right? As you can see in the second, once we will finish the first, and I am reminding you that the first phase will end on the 15th of February, so in the 15 days, right? We will launch their private sale phase 2. And as you can see, the price will be in 50% higher than now. That's why I'm mentioning that at this moment, at this time in CoinSet platform, it is the lowest price and the best terms that you can get. And after this, we will launch the public round in IAO or IDO, and we'll go public with the Soulbound utility token. Next slide, please. So it is the packages, right? And as you can see in the column of their price of the package, the bonuses, and price per token, you can see that we have very democratic packages starting from $10,000 and finishing by $15,000. And more tokens you will buy, more potential profit you will make. And you can see that more tokens and more packages you buy, the lower price you will get. So, for example, the biggest package for $15,000 has the lowest price, right, of 0.0064 per token. And the same with other packages. So very important to understand that 99.9% of all of these people, all of the people around the world, do not join this webinar now, right? But the potential of the people that have a blockchain addresses and that need to be compliant, it is really huge. It is hundreds of millions of people. And as I mentioned, we can talk about the regulation or we can ignore, but it is a fact, right? And all of these people in the future who will not catch this opportunity will have the need to buy the Soulb ID, to get the Soulb ID, the decentralized passport, right? And to be compliant. Why? Because I'm sure that millions of people need to and want to be compliant and make sure that they will not have any penalties from the regulators or any hidden fees right in the end. That's why they need to get their IDs to be compliant. And in their few months, all of these people will request to be compliant and to get the ID. And how they will do so, because they are not participated in CoinSet opportunity. They will go to the exchange and they will buy the Soulb tokens to convert to the identities. From whom they will buy? From the people who have their Soulbound tokens, utility tokens. It is you guys, right? So more tokens you will have, more profit you can make by selling the Soulb tokens for the people who outside this webinar who not get this opportunity but will necessarily need to have the identity to be compliant in the future. Next slide, please.
Yeah, thanks, Ross. That's before I move on to the roadmap, which is quite simple and easy. I would like to mention that the figures and the community token, utility token figures are based on certain principles of demand and supply. So the supply, what we supply in the first phase is the total supply. So there's not going to be more of utility tokens or community tokens. It's not something that you increase supply every month or every year. So that's a limited supply. Moreover, once the tokens are being used, 25% of this usage amount will be burned. What does it mean on the blockchain? In blockchain terms, it means that these tokens will be utilized and removed from the supply. So what does that create? It creates a diminishing supply. So starting from that first mint amounts, going through these tokens, we could go through the life cycle. 25% of every token that goes through the life cycle is being burned. which ends up in less tokens on the market, less supply. Whereas on the other hand, look at the demand. Now we are speaking with you guys, and we're talking about tens of thousands of people. Once we go further down the road, there'll be 100,000 of people. And there's a KPI that we have in 2025 is to reach 1 million people. And that's an increasing demand. So, and as Ross mentioned, the identity checks is done solely through the community token. You can't pay dollars. I mean, you can, but these dollars will be used to purchase community token, and that the token is the medium, as the core medium of exchange within the ecosystem of within the Soulbound product. So, by having this diminishing supply and increasing demand, we can see a pretty much interesting pictures of the value of the token. So that's important. It's not just out of the world. It's built on the principles of economic principles of demand and supply, and how we see that growth. So yeah, and we see it. We hopefully will reach 1 million BSID users by 2025. But I hope with your support that figure would be done before the end of 2025. So what has been already accomplished is we have finalized the whole architecture, basically, because that's 50% of the job. Once you know your plans, once you definitely know how it's going to be built and what needs to be built, I mean, that's 50% of the job being done. So the concept was tricky, but that's already finalized. We have already released an alpha version. What does it mean? It's already a set of smart contracts, a soulbound smart contracts that we use for our own Stobox DAO. DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization. So that's our fellow community members of Stobox who are with us for 4 years. They have a power to vote, and this is their kind of. We have whitelisted them, and only people who have this SBID ID can vote in our Stobox DAO. The same thing may be implemented to any company. You can have a community with voting people. Why not? We have selected our partners, KYC and KYB. We have done thorough checks from different angles. So what we have selected is our hopefully long-term partners in this. And we are working constantly on the product presentations, media, and so on. What is our next focus is we're now working on the version 1.0 product release. So that's product release is the place where all of you may come in and tap the button, get verified, and create an identity. So that's a standalone system that is now we're working on, and it will be in Q1 we will finalize. There are plans for the private rounds. There are plans for the DAO, Decentralized Autonomous Organization setup. We will definitely reach 10K users. It's not a problem as soon as possible. We will implement all types of SBIDs. I doubt that will be in Q1. It will be in Q2. But it's very important to do them as soon as possible, because when we talk about the implementation and regulations, they already have to be there. So for us, we just rush forward with the old types. We plan to go on the community public round. We will figure out in what form. We're still evaluating in what form we're gonna do it. But anyway, the public round will be there. And again, we're still thinking about the centralized exchange listing. We have some debates on that, but we also plan to go live on the secondary market in Q2 or maybe end of Q1 2023. And there is more long-term plans, such as we definitely once we finalize the tokenomics and get first revenues, like physical revenues and physical profits, we will be able to finalize the valuation of the company. We'll do the STO, definitely. Something that I've already explained you, we are planning to provide integration to third-party venues, our partners, clients, so we'll be integrating Soulb into them. We will be implementing new types of these IDs. Maybe there won't be IDs, there will be a, affiliation. Every Evorich community member will have his own token, and depending on the power, providing the power of vote. We may all think about what important decisions have to be made, and depending on how much, how active you are, you may have different types of tokens that allow you to vote. Why not? And we also plan to reach by the end of the year 100,000 SBIDs. We hope so. Again, on the emerging market, we look at this as a realistic. It's not a pessimistic and it's not an optimistic, quite realistic number. But again, it will pretty much depend on your support, guys, on the quality. But something that we build is for already many years, so we kind of stick to our main procedures of quality and quality assurance. So of what we do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, guys, I want to mention that very important point. So how you usually participate in the first sales rounds of the project sales, right? The project has some idea to implement something any day, anyhow, right? And you invest with and believe that it will be implemented. Stop thinking about it. It is not our approach. So we are already tested and implemented their Soulbound IDs in our ecosystem, and we're raising money, right, with our sales rounds to scale up our operations and development. The same with Stobox. We never fundraised. We in Stobox invested and reinvested millions of dollars from our own pockets, right, to build the company. And currently we are already 5 years on the market, and we're thinking about the Series A round to scale up our operations. But we have zero funds on the cap table and not much money attracted through the investments. Why? Because we tested and done all of the work by our own money, and it is fair. It is our approach. The same with Soulb. So it is not the concept that will be implemented someday, right? It is already tested technology that we created, that we implemented in Stobox DAO through the entity tokens. And currently we're scaling this technology to the identities. We believe in this approach where we have tested all of the things by our own money, by our own team, right? And then scaling up the technology and our vision.
Thank you, Ross. Next slide, please. Okay, and let me briefly cover a couple of important things, as probably from our close future. So, if I say the mass adoption of crypto, I think it won't be any news for you. I mean, regardless of this turmoil, scams, scandals, and so on, the adoption is coming. I mean, it's here, and there's more and more wallets, there's more and more businesses, real businesses implementing crypto, blockchain-based technologies. So the future trend, crypto adoption, that's it. There's another, as Ross mentioned several times, it's also a future trend, is DeFi regulations. The market developed being unregulated. We now all see what are the problems. It's not only us, regulators say, okay, guys, it's a financial market. You can't just play around with this unregulated assets. So we will live in that regulations environment anyway, anyhow. I'm sure there will be unregulated crypto. Like there's a lot of cats and dogs and NFTs and then another one-day coins and gaming and so on. They will exist. I'm not against this. Actually, I love concepts of decentralization and anonymity. But when it comes to markets and financial markets, I think we need to put a distinctive line between those and don't call all of this crypto. Yes, it's based on the cryptographic technology, but what we're having here is a bit different from how these cats and dogs are structured that do 100 taxes both ways, by the way. There's something that we see as the part of evolution for Stobox, and that's again, when we say today on average, every business would take around 3 months to tokenize, and most of this time would be devoted for the legal framing and the business framing. That part can be done much faster with certain implementations of rules, but the technology still is a kind of semi-manual deployment, and what we're working on is the automatic deployment. So which means that any business in the world that has validated their identities can come on the dashboard, start process of setting this, the security token issuance in a compliance and a regulated environments. It's kind of like installing Windows 98, where you take certain what you like, what you don't like, and so on, and then the system creates, and by that's your standalone dashboard where you can manage your tokenized assets, and that's something that we're working on again from the technology part, and any business will be able to tokenize, from Friday till Monday, and that's great. I think that would exponentially increase the number of clients that Stobox has. Moreover, it will unlock tokenization for humanity, in many forms. And of course, as I have already mentioned, this progress protocol regulatory part is a very important. It's still now on paper, and we're putting this in the smart contracts, and then we clicking these bits and pieces of the ecosystem. So for us, 2023 is a very important year, because we will do the auto deployment, and we will, that's it's becoming a mass product, not just a product for 5, 10, 20, 30, 500 issuers. Is the product for much more issuers. And an interesting thing I would like to share with you, and it's a bit maybe not the typical financial thing, but I hope you like it, you love it, is we started playing with the concept of personal securities. Just think of this in a way that today only companies may create security tokens and be a subject of valuation and financial interest, but tokenization brings a new concept where a human being is an asset, and what can be tokenized is the time. And imagine the cases where a person lives in a distressed area, and it's a bright person. He would like to relocate, and nobody gives the credit for him, and there is no local financial instruments. And today we live in a very dynamic environment. People travel. So by relocating that person, let's say to Canada, for example, or providing him money in Canadian university, you may increase the value of his hour from $5 to $500. That's your 100x made on a human being. And with the Soulb identity, with the power of community, and with the concept of tokenization, I can tokenize my 1,000 hours, for $50 an hour, get my $50,000, change my life within the next 2 years, and then redeem these hours where you guys will sell it to the company I work for. But I'm not going to work for $50. I may work already for maybe $200. So an education and our life, by educating ourselves, our time worth more. We are probably not the worst assets. So tokenization unlocks not only the corporate issuers, but the personal issuers. And that's something that we are working on the theory part and on the practical part. And I think it will be done this year when we will start providing this possibility for this SBP, for our SBID holders to start tokenizing their time and try to fundraise for that time with a perfect understanding where this money goes to and how she plans to change his life for that money. It's a very interesting social concept. Nobody did it before. Right. So we focus on that because it may be very, very, very disruptive in all the sense. Yes, Ross, please add if you have something.
Yeah, thank you, Gene. So in regards of future trends, let me sum up for you, for your convenience, what we discussed, right? And what I suggest to you to look at this. It is, first of all, the soul-bound tokens as a class. It is a new trend of crypto. Remember this. They're evolving of the regulation. So in the upcoming months, we will see more and more news in respect of regulation, not only their centralized exchanges like Binance, they are already regulated, but I'm talking about the regulation of DeFi industry. It is Uniswap, it is PancakeSwap, it is decentralized exchanges, it is the bridges, it will be regulated and you understand it now. And also it is tokenization. What we currently see, it is BlackRock speaking about the tokenization and confirming that it is a trend. It is the biggest investment fund in the world. We spoke about this 5 years ago, and currently only BlackRock mentioning it, right? So we are in the 5 years above the BlackRock mentions and thinkings, right? And also Morgan Stanley introducing its clients to tokenization. So we just in the beginning, it is only the beginning, and we understand how it will evolve and how we can benefit from it. And it is very important that you will understand it as well and be prepared, because with this information, you can make your actions right and make profit from it. And when we talk about our products and our vision, what Jim mentioned, what we will release in the upcoming months, in 6 or 12 months, because it is a big concept. It is a tokenization of people. Guys, all of their community members that will have the Soulb ID, the decentralized passport that we are issuing. So all of the people who will be compliant, because by having their decentralized identity, you become compliant, right? For all of these people, we'll be able to open the possibility in automated form of creation your own STO of the personal securities of yourself. So you will be able to tokenize yourself. Every leader, every community member, every influencer, YouTuber, TikToker, you'll be able to issue your own STO. Why? Because after the Soulb, once you will get it, because you will be compliant, you will be able to doing so. And it is a great concept where you can tokenize yourself, for example, attract, I don't know, $10,000, $50,000 to move from India to California to make your hour rate higher, right? And you will give for the investors, for example, 5% from all of your profit lifetime, right? By backing you, by investing in you, I am as an investor, I'll be able to get 5% for all of your earnings lifetime. And it is a great concept, and it is a financial freedom. It is what Mila and Armand mentioned, right, about the financial industry evolving, and it could be done through the crypto unit and through the Evorich and through their global portfolio fund and through the Soulb as a technology of the compliance.
Thank you, Ross. Next slide, please. Yes. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you for being listeners.
Thanks a lot, Ross. Thank you a lot, Jean. Guys, from 1 to 10, can you please put 1 where you are confused completely, you don't understand anything what was said, and 10 when everything is so clear for you, you understand when the company goes to, and you understand the concept of updated concept of our own STO for the global portfolio, as well as the product scope and ecosystem of the STO box, Soulb ID, and other tokens. Excellent, excellent, excellent.
Yeah,
Well, let's
it
go
was-
to the few more slides, and we're going to finish up for today. So I want to quickly cover on the MLCI business opportunity, because I believe the projects like this, it's so unique for people. What you heard before, it was all the experience, personal money, everything would been put in together by STO Box team, now being unleashed in our back office for our community. And this is so exclusive. Let's go to the next slide. The concept of MLCI was created in 2014 with idea of putting together multi-level marketing and crowd investment. And if you look at this, both of these industries, you will see that multi-level marketing by itself created so many multimillionaires. There are so lots of people all over the world who make the money and they become financially independent because they use the network marketing or referral marketing, affiliate marketing concept. And there are so many people who also become financially free and independent because they are investors. They invested money into the projects. So there are crowd investing being introduced, and there are so many amazing projects has been in the market, and people become rich because they are choose wisely. And we have here a very unique hybrid. You can become co-owner, you can become investor, but you can also take this instrument and you can promote this instrument. So promote expertise of the STO Box team, of Ross, of Jean. You can promote it completely free of charge. You don't need to buy the business. You don't need to buy inventory. You don't need to invest first in order for you to promote. And this is so unique. And this is what MLCI all about, that you can take somebody else's idea and create the income stream for you, for your family. And if you remember the slides which guys has mentioned about the roadmap, it's only for a very short period of time. The ability of the MLCI is for our community exclusively. So when this the period is finished, and it will be like very soon, I think we have approximately months plus minus have left, then these tokens will be taken away from our community, and then price will be different, opportunity will be different, and nobody could earn by promoting this token anymore, because then this token will migrate to the airdrops and to other communities and to other platforms where they will not have this the marketing plan which able to for everybody to earn. So that's why I want you to recognize and appreciate how amazing this offer is for everybody. If you are, let's go to the next slide. If you are looking for extra income, if you are living today in a country maybe where there's not enough jobs available and you're struggling, you want to have additional income stream. Maybe there's like some projects which you feel passionate about on crypto and you would like to learn a bit more detail. There are lots of education as well available on our platform. If you wanted to become co-owner of the amazing projects, if you want to become maybe a speaker or coach, maybe you want to also do the webinars like this and inspire people. Everything we have in our Evorich community, MLCI business is there to support. And it doesn't matter what country you're from or what is your age, what is your status, what is your income. Everybody can build a business MLCI. Everybody can earn today additional income by promoting the best instruments. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm so excited about this, about the Soulb ID token, because there are lots of information, there are lots of proofs, evidence, there are lots of background, there are so many news, guys are sending us news almost every single day, and this concept is working perfectly. So please make sure that you understand that this is unique, and every single projects which we will bring now to our platform, and they're all token related pre-sale projects will be from now on the CoinSet back office. You will see they will be introduced for short period of time only, for you to take the advantage of the exclusive opportunity for only our community. It always will be the best price in the market. It always will be the best terms and conditions for you to promote, and it always will be for you an instrument for additional income creation. If you want this year to be the epic year for you, for your family, if you really want to make a big difference in such a hectic world, start using MLCI, start learning about MLCI. There are so many additional webinars and trainings which we have on our platform. Log into the Evorich, have a look. There are so many free trainings on our YouTube channel, and start building the momentum. Work with your country, inspire people, use the proven instrument, and make your dream become true. Let's go to the next slide. This is a very brief recap for those of you who may be very new here, or maybe you are been in a company for a while, but what you heard today is completely a new story for your new product. Then I would like to remind you what to start with. Start with you. Start with your dream. At the end of the day, every single person who has the dream has something which, like a magnet, bring him further. If you look at the big names like Steve Jobs or Jack Ma, they become successful because they had these big dreams. And the dreams, they moving people further, extra miles and 1,000 miles per hour. So if you don't yet have your dream, or if you don't yet have your why for 2023, make sure that you use the weekend. Put some roadmap for you together. Maybe you can put like a dream board. Maybe it could be like a little recap of what would you like to achieve this year, whatever it is, but start with you. What is your why? We can provide you with many instruments, but at the end of the day, it is not about company. It's about you, who you are, and what you would like to achieve. Number 2, get enough information. Get to learn about the product, about the company, about due diligence. Try to connect and see and feel if this opportunity is right for you or not. Step number 3, practice. If you find that there is something is clicking inside you, if you passionate and excited about the projects, about building the new economic evolution of the world, if you're passionate about become a professional investor, speaker, if you want to become the person who help another people to reach their dreams, then I would like to welcome you to our community. You can practice, become a speaker, become an entrepreneur, become an MLCI professional, because we have plenty of instruments. Step number 4, find your own way. You don't need to be as good as Ross or me or Jean or Armand or somebody else. You need to be you. Be yourself. Find your own way. What is there that works for you? And once you find your own way, you would be able to help many other people to find their own way too. And that's what I really love about network marketing. It's yet different for each person, because each person can have their own goals, own dreams, but every single road and journey will be different. And number 5, become an MLCI pro by helping others. At the end of the day, I'm sure it is not about just you become, financially free, or you become rich and your friends and family will be there, looking at you, and they will be always left behind. I'm sure you're a person who wanted to everybody be happy, healthy, wealthy, and imagine what our world will be if we're going to have people with enough money, enough wealth, enough education. If we have a world with the people who are happy, who are not fighting with each other, but who are thriving and helping each other. And this is all MLCI and new economic evolution of the world about. Please make sure that you are helping others to understand. If you find some information complicated, please watch again. There are recordings will be available on our channels, and you can access to the back offices to recap, to relearn, and you can always ask the person who invited you to this webinar to give you more clarity. There are also top leadership council, which we have. There are plenty of people who are representative for every single country, and you can learn from them. At the end of the day, there are going to be more and more projects coming. And of course, it's impossible to learn everything, but choose what make you passionate about, what make you, you, and grow yourself. Make sure that you having your own dreams and helping others to fulfill their journey too. That's all from me. Thanks a lot, guys, for being here. Thanks a lot, Ross and Jean. Thanks a lot for translators to stream us and translate on the different rooms. And afterwards, we will put some video at the end of this session. But I wish everybody all the best. And there are some questions which you guys put together. We will collect them all in one file, work on them through the next week, and we'll provide you some written answers, or it will be another maybe a webinar when we will answer all the questions. But that's all from my side. All the best.
Mila, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for hosting such an event, and thank you for inviting us. Thank you, Ross.
Yeah, thank you, Mila. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for the opportunity. And it was a pleasure to be here. Thank you a lot, guys, and have a great weekend ahead.
Thanks, community. Have a great weekend.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Listen, friend, I want to ask you something. I want to ask you what we normally forget, but it is very important. I suppose it is the most important thing you can hear from me right now. So listen carefully. Here's what I wanted to ask you to do. Dream. Dream like a child, sincerely, with an open heart. Dream as if nobody has ever said this awful phrase to you. Dreams don't come true. That's a lie. Your dreams will come true if they are yours. If you believe. If you act. Dream. Dreams inspire, dreams motivate and move to act. Dreams make you get out of bed and fill you with energy. Dreams make you happier, as you cannot dream about something bad. Dreams give you wings. Dream. The dream is your vector. A dream with faith and movement towards is a goal, and the goal is certain. It gives direction. Without a dream you are blind, you do not know where to go. You are a flugel spinning in place, a splinter carried by the turbulent flow of life wherever it pleases. Be a ship, dream. Live consciously, live a full life, dream. It is dreams that fill our lives with meaning. Don't exist, live, I beg you. We did not come into this world to just work, exist, to fight for our place under the sun. We came to dream, and thereby create. Dream, don't look back. Dream about your own, not what you are told. However small your dream is, it is yours. Make it come true and dream about something else that is important to you. Dream after dream, dream after dream. This is life, do you understand? This is what life is about. Dream, I beg you, otherwise others will dream for you. But then you will not live your life, but theirs. And you will make the dreams of others come true, not yours. Do you want this? Is this what you live for? Is this what you dream about when you were little, when you loved and knew how to do it? Listen, friend, stop. Don't run. You won't make it on time without a dream anyway. For you don't know where to run. Don't waste your time. Don't waste time at all. It is the most important thing you have. I never understood how you could kill time. Stop. Remember what you dreamed about, as you did dream sometime. Dreamed that you would grow up, become successful, someone important, significant. Would become a scientist, artist, doctor, sportsman, cosmonaut. You dreamed about traveling the whole world, discovering new things, creating a masterpiece, leave a memory of yourself. Or simply, without knowing how, but dreamed that you would definitely be happy. And then, for some reason, you stopped, grew up. This world was created by dreamers, madmen, nobody believed in their dreams. Who were told, hey, this is impossible, stop it, silly, do something serious. Everything great that we appreciate, use, take selfies in front of, was once someone's dreams, someone's impossible fantasy, someone's goal and faith. Dream, friend, wherever you may be, whoever you might have become. It is never too late to make your dream come true. Think, what would you be doing right now if you were not surviving? What do you truly want? Ask yourself. People were made to discover and create. You can't want anything, not strive towards anything. It is unnatural, abnormal, do you understand? Now is the high time to start, not yesterday, not tomorrow, not from Monday, now! Start dreaming. Dream big and dream small. See yourself and the world the way you like it. Create it in your fantasies, your mind first. Draw your masterpiece. Dream, believe, act, and never give up. Never, you hear me, never give up and never betray your dream. I believe in you, friend. And you should too. Start dreaming.